Hello, listener. Hello, me. Hello, everybody. If you're listening, or I'm just talking to myself. I made a list last night of, well, it's not a very big list. Okay, the thing about me making lists is I could make a to-do list, and then tomorrow I could forget that I made that to-do list, so I could make another to-do list, and then I have two to-do lists, and then I forget where the first to-do list went. But yesterday I made this to-do list of things that I should do that would bring me joy. Like, recording this episode would definitely indeed bring me joy. What has happened in my life since episode 56? Since episode 56, I've been learning a lot of stuff. I've been learning that, wow, I'm kind of really a messy person. Not messy as in like, oh, there's mold growing everywhere, but messy as in like, it's kind of hard to navigate. If you had someone else trying to navigate with you, they would be like, yo, dude, ouch, I just bumped into this thing, and that isn't the end of the world, but it could have been better. We do such a good job of not giving ourselves enough grace because we have to be perfect. We have to be so successful. We always have to be doing something that if you're just lazy, then who are you? No. Hear me out. It's okay to take your time and do things. We all are not perfect in the way we do things. Only Jesus is perfect in the way that he did things while he walked on earth. And loving him, I can learn to do things like better. But if I screw up, it's really okay. Like, obviously, you need to be disciplined in certain things like brushing your teeth or drinking water. Because it's really easy to slip on certain things. We all have a certain kryptonite, like Clark Kent, Superman, his kryptonite is kryptonite. You know, when he's around it, it's like it makes him weak. We all have areas in our lives where we are weak. I've been gardening. The garden's kind of not doing so great right now because watering it has been tough. That's been like my kryptonite. My sweet corn has grown a lot more than it has the first time around. This is like the second crop. Last year was the first crop. This is the second crop. Garden, I've been rock climbing a lot, which has been great. I'm looking at spots on my hands where definitely those are hand rock climbing points. What's that even mean? That means spots where you are contacting the rock the most, where you are putting the most strength to support yourself. And it's been cool rock climbing because I'm learning, am I more left dominant or right dominant? Do I emphasize more strength on the right side of my body or the left side of my body? Do I breathe? Do I lock up a lot when I do things? Just, really exercising my mental muscle, keeping it active, keeping it engaged. I think that's really the lesson. That wasn't even a topic, but that's really a lesson, is just keeping your mind engaged. I've been struggling with the thought a lot of, man, life isn't so exciting right now. It doesn't have to be exciting every single day. Speaking of life, I've also been playing tennis too. That's been really fun. And since it's summer, tennis, and then going swimming afterward in the pool outside because it's hot and nice. And I think I just got past the swimming and then bringing your head up and then breathing thing while you're doing the breaststroke. That's pretty cool. If you are just joining, this podcast is a personal and therapeutic tool that I call a vocal diary. This is a space for me to process my thoughts, explore stories, and post them for anybody who might be interested. Hopefully inspiring someone. I'm not doing this for any type of social gain or to be a better human. I'm just doing it. I'm doing it to refine the things inside my head so I can more or less know myself more. I'd like to ultimately know Jesus more, but this also helps me know myself more. And and loving thy neighbor as yourself, it's good to know yourself. If you don't really treat yourself well, then I used to think you could just treat other people really well without treating yourself well, but I was completely wrong. I'll admit defeat that you need to treat yourself well. I digress from the introduction. Episodes 1 and 2, they talk about who I am, so if you're interested and you haven't already, please give those a listen. They're just kind of a baseline of who I am, and then over time, if you were to listen to all now 57 episodes, you'd be like, wow, this is really interesting, or maybe not. Maybe you'd just be like, I just wasted a bunch of hours of my life listening to this guy, whoever he is, talk. Blabble, blabble, blabble on about life. Quick disclosure that going on tangents may or may not be involved. This show is conversationally true to how I speak. Quick shout out that EDC Crate may or may not be up, but if you go to their website, edccrate.com, you might be able to buy some stuff and use coupon code GQT 15%. I still need to talk to the dude to see if that coupon code is working so you can buy stuff, because that'd be cool. If you got this super good cologne that smells so good that you want to just buy it all and then put it all over all your clothes and then wear it all the time because it smells really good. And yeah, here we go to when I built a lunar base in space. I think I've talked before about Kerbal Space Program. Kerbal Space Program is a space simulation computer generator game with video graphics, so I guess you could call it a video game, that I like to play a lot. I haven't actually played it at all this year, 2022, because I've just been doing other things. But one of the last times I played it, I was really focused on... Oh, back up. Kerbal Space Program is a simulation game where you... Like normal games, you might be running around with a gun and shooting other people with guns, or driving cars from the safety of your home. Well, this game, you're able to build a spaceship and fly it from the safety and comfort of your home, and without spending any money on the rocket ship parts. Without really getting too nerdy about it, this game has taught me a lot about astrodynamics, astrophysics, like stuff in space, how space works, and how do we get from Earth to the moon, or how do we get an orbit around the Earth or the moon? How do we travel in space? One time when I was rock climbing, I looked at a route when I was bouldering. I just stood back and looked at it, and I thought, why can't we just be content where we're at? Why do we always have to try to climb higher? That was very metaphorical, metaphysical, whatever you want to, analogetical. No, that's not the word. I don't remember what episode it was, but I stood next to a turbine, the GE9X turbine, which was when it's completely built, it's 13 feet in diameter, and it goes on an airplane, and it's humongous. I realized that I really kind of wasn't interested in not going higher and farther. Going higher and farther can be applied to anything. No, I want to expand, I want to grow, I want to learn new things. I'm not terribly stoked on the idea of going into space to explore new worlds. If I had the opportunity to get on a spaceship and go to the God's Eye Nebula safely, that would be so cool. But then, again, I probably wouldn't be able to come back to Earth. I would spend my whole life devoted, because it's so far away, you would spend your whole life devoted to just going on that mission. I didn't even tell you about building a lunar base in space. It had 6 or 7 different main sections that I launched individually into space and assembled them in orbit. And then the idea is going to the moon with it and landing it. And kind of exploring the moon. So I guess in a sense I do enjoy the idea of going on mission to explore and learn. I'm not against space travel. So going higher and farther, you can do that about anything in your life. At the end of my life, whenever that is, it could be tomorrow, it could be 10, 20, 30, 50 years from now, 60, 70. I don't know. Only God knows. But I don't want to get to the end of my life and be like, I never explored anything. I just sat home and did nothing. Only God knows what is best for you. I don't know what's best for you. You might know what's best for you. You may have a pretty good idea. I think I have a decent idea of what's good for me, but I get so blindsided all the time on what I want to do and what brings me joy, and I get distracted from things, and I go on these tangents in life, and I forget what I was doing in the first place, and I need to write them down and not put them on all these different to-do lists, and I need to keep them all in the same place. Why can't I keep them all in the same place? It's about being focused. Focused, focus, focus, focus. Focus, focus, focus. How much time do we have? Oh, we got some time. To when you need to really focus on things. Over the last few weeks, I've been learning a lot about focus. Not learning like sitting down and reading from a textbook. I have been reading a little bit and learning from that reading that life's not going to slow down. There are things for you to do that if you don't do them, they're not going to get done. You don't need to read a bunch of books. You don't need to go outside every day. But unless you focus and take steps toward those things, if you have goals, you need to gaze your eyes forward and in the biblical lens, keep your eyes on Jesus, and everything else that doesn't matter will fall away. Everything that does matter, you'll be fine. You'll be able to do it. If you don't believe in Jesus, if you don't go to church, if you don't read the Bible, I hope that you are getting fulfillment and joy out of life. I'm not doing it perfectly. Just because I do this and I've talked about all these things and all these experiences doesn't mean that I'm squeezing every bit out of life. Like, focus. Keep your eyes fixed. When you tend to keep your eyes fixed on what is important to you, I think, like the time when I said, if I'm bored, I should just drink a bunch of water or something, because that like helps me to be centered, drinking water. Keeping focused will help you to grow. If you are fertilizing plants by just spraying them or watering them from really far back, you're not necessarily watering the plant, you're spreading out the water, but really what the plant needs is to be watered at the base. It needs a focused amount of water. Like the sunlight is so strong, and when the plants in there's photosynthetic cells, whatever you call them, I believe them, like solar panels, adjust to the sun because they are focusing on the sun. They're focused on where they get their nourishment. What is even the lesson in this topic? Whatever you're doing, wherever you want to go in life, just stay focused on moving forward, taking that one step after another. Planes are built out of metal or composite material. Planes can travel hundreds of miles per hour at tens of thousands of feet in the air. A plane is like a boat, which would go through the water, but is actually traveling through the air. That's what I got for that one. Is it time yet to stop recording? Probably. But let's bore you with another topic. To when I drove a go-kart. That just came out of nowhere. Go-karts are cool because you have to be a certain age, you have to be a certain height, I believe, to ride them. Like, what is it? Okay, I don't remember when the first time I drove a race car, a go-kart was. Maybe it was the time I went to Legoland when I was little. That wasn't really a go-kart, but that was the closest thing to a go-kart. And I believe it was maybe my 8th birthday. My parents and aunt and uncle took me, and maybe my sisters were there. We went to Legoland. If you haven't been to Legoland and you like Legos, it's pretty cool. It's like this park that's just like Lego almost everything. The food that you eat are Legos. No, they're not. That was a joke. They are not Legos. These little cars were pretty cool because you could drive them around, maybe at a max speed of 5 or 10 miles an hour. They had a pretty similar vibe of go-karts because I think you could run into other people, but the whole idea was to get your Legoland driver's license. And I have my Legoland driver's license. I don't know exactly where it's at right now, but I got my license when I was so young. But it's not street legal. It's only Legoland street legal. Legoland course kart thing street legal. Legoland go-karts. Legoland go-karts. If you are driving is an interesting concept. It's not a concept. It's an interesting thing because we spend so much of our lives now just driving from one place to another. We spend time driving, we spend time sleeping, we spend time eating, we spend time going to the bathroom, being in the bathroom, we spend time hanging out with friends, family. You can do the same thing with money. Where are you prioritizing? What are you prioritizing? What is important to you? If something else is important to you, then take out something from your budget and put it in there and then spend time with that. You can be precise about how you live your life, which I tried doing, but it wasn't necessarily healthy. I got pretty obsessive over it, and Simon said, dude, you were pretty OCD about that, and I think beating yourself up a lot, and you just seemed stressed all the time. So enjoy life, please. I'm begging you. I could be living my life a lot better and a lot more effectively and efficiently, and I'm working on that. But for the time being, I'm just gonna take it day by day and try to focus, do my go outside at least once a day thing, spend time with friends and family when I can, go rock climbing, go gardening, play tennis, drink bunches of water. But ultimately, I want everything precisely to be done to the glory of God, the Father of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, who lived a perfect sinless life. He died, he was murdered by people, but then he arose 3 days later. For anyone who feels that life is heavy and burdensome, he died for you. He died because he loves you. And that's the invitation that he provides for anyone who would listen and allow him to come into their life, to come to him with open arms. Nobody is too far gone. He loves you. For God so loved the world that he sent his one and only Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish but have eternal life. He came to give life abundantly. My life isn't about me, it's about Jesus and what he has done for me on the cross. Because when I live with that as my focus, that is my precise aim in life, is to know him more and to live for the kingdom that he spoke about when he lived. Ow! Oh, that blinded my eyes! My corneas!